Here we go, another edition.
Thursday. We are out the gate, NBA. Got some small NBA stuff. And then we'll talk some NFL is kicking off tonight. Cowboys, Eagles. There's a little weather delay right now too, but yeah.
Yeah. How about those Georgia Bulldogs making some dumb decisions for the Eagles defense? Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter.
And kick his ass. A 15-yard penalty on the offense for Dallas. Just got a problem in Athens.
All of Georgia Bulldogs, huh?
Hey man, George Pickens like, you can't leave me out. I got to do something too. It's so easy. It's so easy. We are ready to talk some sports. And hey, Rob, you remember Scott Richmond?
Yeah.
He always tries to poke the bear. Talk about, what you gonna do now? And I'm like, Richmond, I'm a Cowboys fan tonight, man. You can suck it, man. So I'm pretty pissed right here. He's always trying to poke the bear, man. So Richmond, I'm glad about Jalen Carter getting ejected, man. So you take that, put that in your practice, dude, man. Come on.
I just pull for fantasy in these kind of games.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter, AJ Brown. I'm pulling for those three players.
Oh man, and Javonte Williams is on the bench for me. Yay for me! Good job. I'm glad he's on the bench.
2 touchdowns too.
That just hurts, man.
You can't see that coming.
Well, he was a player that always had the potential, right? And it seemed like he showed flashes in Denver, and he got hurt. And so it's not too surprising that he's doing this. I mean, he's a guy that has the potential for sure.
Unbelievable. It's all good. Hey, but let's get this party started again. I want to welcome everyone to another amazing edition of Talking Sports with the 12th Man. Just wanted to give a quick shout out, though, some prayers for Gary, our co-host, his mom. Hope she's doing okay. Man, a little COVID scare, so hope she's okay. So that's just not as common, but it is still out there too. So definitely be safe out there. And we want to give a shout out, obviously, to JQ's daughter, Ava. Happy birthday to her. Hope she had
happy birthday.
Great day. And what'd you say, Rob?
I saw JQ's pictures today. I said JQ when he wears a suit, he still wears Ohio State colors.
And I did that on purpose for the father-daughter dance. Is that why I put an old one in the picture and a new picture out there? Only not many people put those two together, but 100% put those two colors together for that father-daughter dance for that reason.
Oh man, it's good stuff. Yeah, we're having
a gray suit with a scarlet sweater. Huh?
Oh man, I love it, man. Good stuff, man. I should join Facebook more because I'm just it is what it is, man. But a lot of love, man. We're having some fun, and happy birthday. Let's keep this moving here. But let's go around the horn, check in. I'm gonna throw out the numbers really quickly and where to find us and all that fun stuff. I'm actually gonna put the crawl on there so you guys know what's going on. All of that fun stuff too. So again, reach out to us. We're live. A couple places you can find us. You can find us on Twitter X at the number 12 THMAN Sports. We are on Facebook, which is obviously our Facebook page, which is Talking Sports the 12th Man. Or if you put in 12th Man Sports, you'll find us. Post a lot of fun stuff there. And last but not least, we always want to encourage our followers to find us on YouTube. And again, this is also streaming to Facebook Live and to our YouTube page. Another 12th Man Sports until we change it. But for now, it is what it is. And that is how you will find us as well. But we got my fellas in the house. Let's do a quick check-in. JQ, how you feel this evening, sir?
Oh, man, I can't complain. I appreciate everybody's support and the well wishes from my baby girl. Yeah. Wow, she's 17 now. Well, I don't know where the time went, but yeah, so she's a junior. If I hadn't had my way, because her birthday is the 4th and the cutoff is September 1st, they made her wait an extra year, which is why she's in the 11th and not the 12th. And we was mad to the mofo. Like, make her wait for 3 days. But now I'm like, I'm glad I had to wait because she would have been a senior. So, been a good day celebrating her.
Nice.
Good stuff. Had the same issue with my son, too. Well, his birthday was in December. But, when we were growing up, it was all about the year. It wasn't about the time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, with those rules. But, yeah.
3 days. We were like, come on, dog, it's 3 days. Georgia was like, nope, we're not making no exceptions.
Isn't that crazy how that happened? Yeah, I mean, I was born in January, like January the 3rd. So obviously I was always missing out like on the birthday pencil and all that. We were always out of school, man. So I used to always get teased about getting the birthday pencil, man. So coming back for you, Charles, man. You used to make fun of me, but it's all good. Hey,
wow, you remember that dude's name? Come on, man. You gotta let it go.
Yeah, man. It was real back then, man. So it's all good. He used to have the birthday pencil because he was born like on the 5th whenever we went back to school. He's like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, "Man, I wanted to beat that dude up, man, every day, man." But it's all good. Wow. I was just something small, right? And you were like, you didn't know any better whenever you were young, man. You know, like it was the cool thing, birthday pencil, got a birthday pencil, you know. Like, I got some ice cream. You can't afford it. You know, there's all that time, man. So you got to have those things, man. Now you're like, man, what the hell? But, Rob, how you feeling, man?
Man, doing good, man. Ready to get this party started here, man. Let's make it do what it do, baby.
Let's do it, man. Let's have some fun here. You know, no asparagus stuff. No talker here, man. You know.
Well, I haven't eaten dinner. You know, it's still only 7-something here, so it look like I'm eating a late dinner. My dinner will have some asparagus with it, so I'll get it in.
You knew that was coming.
Of course it will. Of course it will. I set it up, man. I knew it was going to happen, man. So that was on me. Man.
I was in Salt Lake City early today, so I didn't get any asparagus there, but it's all good. I'll get it tonight.
We'll talk about that later. All right, gentlemen, let's have some fun stuff. Let's get this party started here. Let's talk about right out the gate here because we're going to have a nice quick show, if you will. Let's talk about a couple of coaches on the hot seat. And, you know, I love how this is, you know, the season just starts. It's like, man, all right, you already know what's going down. So right out the gate, and you talked about it earlier in December, right? It's like, you know, Black Monday, right? That's always something that's happening at the end of the season. So I got a couple here that I'm thinking of. I know there's a couple different orders here. I don't know this is first or second too, but you got to think about. I got Brian Dable for the Giants on there too, because obviously what's happening with the Giants and the quarterback controversy. Because who's the quarterback? Is it going to be Jameis? Is it going to be Russell? Is going to be Jackson Dart? You know, so that looks a little unstable as far as that. I also have
that's for sure. It's going to be Russell, and then whenever they tie to him, they'll give it to Jackson Dart.
Yep. It's like, yeah, it's going to be crazy. I also got Mike McDaniel for the Dolphins on the list here. You know, obviously we talked about some expectations for the Dolphins. Started out pretty strong, and then now it's like, what the hell is happening there in Miami? I've got Shane Steichen for the Colts, and the reason why I put him down there is because obviously what's happening with, you know, you're going to notice a trend, some challenges with quarterback, right? What's going on with that? You're going to, you know, I know JQ always talk about quarterback. Are you going to attach your wagon to Daniel Jones? That's not a good situation, I don't think. At all. You wanted Anthony Richardson to take that, and just I don't know if it's he had all that promise coming from the Eagles and what he promised the Colts, and I think it's on the hot seat. I'm gonna put him. I've got a couple. So is Kevin Stefanski on there just because of the challenges with the Browns and what's happening as far as, you know, they look like they don't know. It's like it's a crazy situation with the Browns, still quarterback stuff. Dave Canales I got for the Panthers, and then an outside situation too. I don't know. JQ, do you have Zach Taylor on the list as far as
I was waiting on you to get to him? Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the expectation. So those are kind of the ones that I kind of put down. So I don't know what you guys think about that. You want to talk about that? And do you guys know who the head coach is for the Cardinals, by the way?
Yeah, Gannon.
Okay, I don't know. Like I was like, I don't know if everyone remember that dude. It's like, who's that? You know, it was one of those things, man. So
he's on my hot list. He's on a hot seat on my list.
Wow, he's been
Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah. Anyway. Go ahead, guys. I don't know if you want to take that JQ or Rob. Who wants to take the first crack at that?
Go ahead, because I had the same ones you had. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Gannon. Since we're just talking about him, I have him on the list. Look, you know, it's time for him to get it done with Kyler Murray. I mean, he's got Michael Harrison Jr. out there as well. They've invested a lot into that defense, and you know, he's more of a defensive guy too, right?
Yep.
And so to me, he's on that list as well. I mean, and I don't think I think the Rams are the favorite in that division as long as Stafford is healthy.
Yep.
But outside of the Rams in that division, I mean, the Cardinals, Seahawks, the 49ers, I don't think any of them on paper are considered to be great this year, right? So I mean, it's an opportunity for the Cardinals to possibly be the number 2 team in that division, you know, if some things line up. So, in my book, Gannon has got to be at least number 2 in that division in order to keep his job, in my opinion. I mean, you touched on Brian Dable, man. They could have almost fired him last year. And, they gave him another chance. And we'll see what happens, right? I mean, I still have them last in the division. I mean, they look great in the preseason, right? But, you never want to get too overexcited about preseason games. But overall, as a team, they played very well in the preseason. But we all know that, nobody's really put together really any sound game plans in the preseason. It's really more about evaluating individuals per se,
right?
Things of that nature. So I won't put too much stock into that. And I think Mike McDaniel's on the list too with the Dolphins, right? They've been one of those teams that's, just been 9-8, 10-7, 8-9 kind of thing. He's got Tua, he's got some weapons on the perimeter. At what point you're going to get that team over the hump? You talked about it, Shane Steichen as well with the Colts, definitely on that list. I'll leave Zach Taylor for JQ. I kind of would take him in a heartbeat, but I'll let JQ talk about.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't in spite of him.
JQ's
Brian Callahan, you got to think about him too a little bit. I know he's on to his second year. So he's another guy for me. You got to think about. You can't be the worst team in the league last year and then have another bad season this season with the number one. I think he has to see some kind of progression this season with Cam Ward at the quarterback position for him to keep his job.
Listen,
I'll leave Zach Taylor for JQ.
Listen, you have too much talent, and everybody has gotten paid at this point, right? You had an opportunity to help fix the defense. You kind of come out the gates. You got to give you Cleveland and Jacksonville to start the season. You got to at least be 1-1 and preferably 2-0. The next 4 weeks after that is brutal for the Bengals. So, I believe he's on the hot seat. And I'm surprised you didn't put Raheem on there. Listen, we know how black coaches don't make it that long. They nosed out a little bit in the last year. If they go out there, Michael Penix, if he's developing him in the division outside of Tampa, nobody's scaring you. Carolina might be a little better. I'm sorry, but New Orleans don't have a quarterback. They've taken a step back. Like, you got to look at this and say, hey, you need to be challenging Tampa for real for this division title. And if he doesn't, so we've seen work. It seems like he goes after a year. So
you see now. So you're saying Raheem's on there too, right? That's what you're saying, right? That's what you said.
I think so. Because the division is there to be had. Not that Tampa is an easy win, right? But you're looking at it like it's not the NFC North or the AFC North where you're like, shit. There's 3 teams, sometimes 4, that are going to be a problem. It's just them in Tampa. You can't be losing to New Orleans. You can't be losing to Carolina like they did with the season on the line last year. Let Carolina come down here and just beat the brakes off Atlanta. Just went up and down the field on them.
Yeah.
So
the defense was a disaster, JQ. Like obviously with the Jimmy Lake
card is what?
One more time.
Raheem Morris's calling card is what?
Defense. Yeah, 100%. I get you. Yeah.
That's what I was like. Yeah, you got to put him on there.
Yeah. No, that's a good call. I mean, obviously, it's pretty much playoffs or bust, man. I believe, and for the Falcons, and like you said, I know Arthur says he doesn't really have like that. He didn't like firing coaches and some of that, but being a black coach, like you said, it's definitely, man, they will have some pitchforks if they don't do some success, man. And I mean, What?
You just don't get that level of reach, especially in the division that most people, the AFC South and the NFC South, people look at as divisions that are there to be had.
True. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, like I said, that's a good call. I mean, there's other courses I was thinking about. Yeah, he's outside looking at that one too, man, because we have a lot of high expectations. And right now, like you said, the division is yours for the taking. You got, Jimmy Lake, that was a disaster. I don't know what the hell defense that was, and that's why he went to his trusted boy with Jeff Ulbrich to try, hey, we got to clean this up, man. So you got all that talent, man. You let them young boys play, man. So playoffs or bust, man. I need to look at Rob. Rob was no part of this conversation. Let's talk about some expectations for the Rams. I know this is something that Gary would love to talk about, but I think it really depends on, Matthew Stafford's health, right? Because I think that he was in some type of chair, some type of thing, and that's a little scary, right? So, and the first game is against, Houston. Now, Houston's got some challenges too, obviously, with Christian Kirk being out with the hamstring. They got a lot of young wide receivers, so this is an interesting game. But if you have Stafford out there, I don't know how mobile he is. You know that what you'll call it. DeMarco Ryans is going to send every blitz that he can throw in the book, and your backup is Jimmy Garoppolo. You don't want that at all. So if you're, they may even throw Stetson Bennett in there. I don't know, but that's just a tough call right out the gate too. So it depends on Stafford's health, because if Stafford is healthy, they've been in the playoffs the past 2 years, and they actually threatened, the Eagles. So they were a good squad, if you will. So that is an underrated team. You get Devontae Adams coming back. You got Kyron Williams over there. You got Puka Nacua, who's very efficient wide receiver. They got a very young, hungry defense. With Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, they're there. So it's just like, I think it's that one quarterback that you're kind of figuring out. Is he the guy? Can Stafford hold off? Because again, Garoppolo, Stetson are your kind of backup quarterbacks.
I want to know what the hell Stetson is doing, because Jimmy Garoppolo ain't showed you nothing in a damn decade.
True.
He's your number two. What worries about that is he's your number two quarterback, with a quarterback who we agree, when he's healthy with those weapons, the Rams are an absolute problem.
Yep.
With a back, you said, hey, man, I'm going to get Jimmy Garoppolo to try to keep the season together if something happened to Matthew Stafford. I don't know what kind of dirty pitch Garoppolo got, and I don't know what kind of drinking the Stetson is still doing or not doing. But my goodness, man, they are right there. I mean, you may have to bridge the gap with Matthew because of that back. And I just don't see Jimmy G holding enough. So to me, they're the clear division. If Matthew Stafford is healthy, they're clear leaders in the clubhouse to me to win that division and scare a whole lot of people in the playoffs that really don't want to see that team come in. But without Matthew Stafford, I guess you could say that for most, NFL franchises. But you have to have a somewhat capable, like Cooper Rush ain't gonna turn the world on fire. But if Dak misses a couple of games back then, he was good enough to keep the ship afloat for 3 to 4 weeks, at least keep him 500. I don't know if Jimmy G can do that at all. He might go 1-3. He might not win no games.
That dude's terrible.
So you got to keep Matthew Stafford healthy. He's the whole linchpin to that team.
Yeah, JQ, you make an interesting point about Stetson Bennett. He actually played very well in the preseason. I know I just talked about it a little while ago, not to put a whole lot of stock in the preseason games. But from an evaluation standpoint, I thought he actually played well in the preseason. Like, he really should be the number 2 guy on that Rams team. But, yeah, I agree. I think the Rams are definitely the favorite to win the division, particularly if they got to keep Matthew Stafford healthy, right? But the weapons they have on the perimeter, Puka Nacua, and of course, adding Devontae Adams, et cetera. They still got Williams at the running back position, and improved offensive line or defensive line. We already know about that. Jared Verse and Braden on the defensive line, right? So to me, they're the clear favorite. They were a tough out in the playoffs on last season. I mean, I can see this team on the low end winning 10 games, on the high end winning more like 12 games. So I could see them being anywhere between 10-7 to 12-5 when you look at that division. Look like they have a good chance to win their first couple of games here. I mean, they're at home against Houston. I think Houston's going to be an intriguing team to watch on defense this year with those edge rushers that they have, Danielle Hunter and, of course, Will Anderson, right? And then, of course, Derek Stingley at corner. So they're going to be an intriguing team on defense. I just wonder what Houston's offensive line is going to look like right after trading Laramie Tunsil. But I like the Rams in that game. I don't know if that's in our predictions. I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
I'm getting ahead of myself here. But I think the Rams got a good shot to start the season out 2-0 this year. So they're my pick to win the division.
You can close your ears for this one, JQ, if you want, man. Are the Steelers the team to watch? And just really quickly, and it's always hard to underestimate Mike Tomlin, because they just keep, they keep making the playoffs. I know some people are upset that he's not winning as much, but they always got a shot. And, you took opportunity getting Aaron Rodgers, and you traded for DK Metcalf, so, you're trying to ignite that stagnant offense. And then you're looking at, Arthur Smith, right? And I was reading some stuff about him, and the wrong thing that you gave him was trying to think he became a quarterback whisperer whenever he had success with Ryan Tannehill. That was the worst thing you could ever do for that dude, because he thought, I can make anyone a quarterback, and you're like, no, you can't. So, again, they have the components because they have a strong defense, and if you can run the ball, that's normally good formulas for becoming a solid winning team. So, we're not sure what's happening. Aaron Rodgers is 85 years old. They're going to basically run the ball and let Aaron Rodgers do some play action, and you're going to hope that DK can, obviously get some catches, and maybe Arthur Smith will put them in good situations, but you're just going to have to lean on that running game. So I'm just kind of thinking, like I said, they're always going to be in the mix. That's just the thing that's going to happen with the Steelers.
But at AFC North, we know what kind of division that is. It's one of the toughest in football. I think I have the Steelers third in that division just because Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow's in that division.
Absolutely.
And they're the two best quarterbacks in that division, right? So I have the Steelers number 3, but I think they can still make the playoffs as a number 3 team in that division. I mean, they could go 10-7 in that division. I think the Steelers are going to be one of the better defensive teams in the league on this season, right? And maybe Aaron Rodgers gives them just enough to be competitive, but I think they're going to win with defense this year. But they won't be a Super Bowl contender. I mean, you got to have elite quarterbacks, particularly in the AFC, if you're going to be a Super Bowl contender. And to me, there's only 4 Super Bowl contenders in the AFC, and that's the Ravens, the Bengals, the Chiefs, and of course the Bills. Those are the 4 teams to me that you got to worry about as far as Super Bowl contention. But like I said, the Steelers, they're going to upset a team or two, but I mean, like I said, they won't go far in the playoffs. Let me know when the football game restarts. I'm into this U.S. Open right now.
Yeah,
it's 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock weather update.
Yeah.
Okay.
They added Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay too, by the way, the Steelers. So that was some interesting moves as well for the back end. So yeah, they're gonna have a good defense as well. If Jalen keeps his mouth shut. Go ahead, JQ. If you want to say
anything. I don't want to talk about the damn Steelers. We can move on.
Sure, there it is. We knew that was going to happen.
That's how we get JQ to be quiet. Just put Steelers on the topic.
You said what it is. I mean, I also think that Darius Slay and Ramsey don't also come available if the other teams, if like they were starting to slip too. So we'll see, because if you those dudes, they don't come loose. But you're right, they're going to be right there. Because if you look at the AFC, you feel like the AFC East is going to be the Bills. We don't really think the Jets are the Patriots or the Dolphins. The Dolphins, I guess, maybe on the fringe looking on it. But you talk about the AFC West, you could probably have, I'll give you the Broncos and I'll give you the Chiefs, of course. The AFC South is only going to get the AFC South winner. So you're looking at 7 spots. You got 4 division winners, and I'm giving you the Broncos. That's 5, right? So you got 2 other wild card spots open. You're looking at the AFC North. It's going to be whoever doesn't win it. It could be, the Ravens will probably win it, and then you got the Bengals and the Steelers sitting there battling with maybe the Dolphins and the Chargers for that last spot. For 4 teams for those 2 spots. So, I just see that. I think the AFC is kind of really settled right now in terms of where the pecking order is.
Mason Rudolph and Will Howard are the quarterbacks if something happens to Aaron Rodgers. That's pretty scary. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
JQ's happy about that.
So, I'll tell you, if something happened to Aaron Rodgers, you're going to see Mike Tomlin with his first losing season. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
There it is.
They ain't going to win no games with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard.
There it is. Really quickly, Rob, you can talk about Amari Cooper retiring. So he let the Raiders know that he was going to be retiring. So this is a pretty recent breaking story, Rob.
Yeah, I was, listening to Chip Kelly and how disappointed he was because they actually thought he could have an impact on their football team. And, sometimes you just have guys that just don't feel like it anymore. And that's what it seemed like with Amari Cooper, right? It's a grind, right? And when you think about guys like Tom Brady, who played, I know he's a quarterback, not as much wear and tear on the body at the quarterback position. But, sometimes you get tired of the grind, and it just sounds like that's what it is for, Amari Cooper, at 31 years old. But obviously Chip Kelly thought that he could have an impact on that football team.
Listen, Amari Cooper was done 2-3 years ago.
There it is.
So, come on, man. Come on. He showed for a game and then take the rest of the month out. But you're right. I think you could just tell that man was done. He'd been done for a second. And it is to that point where, he didn't have to be the dude. Like, you got Brock out there, you got what dude they got from Patriots that requested the trade. They got him out there at wide receiver. So, like, you don't have to go there.
Kobe Myers.
Kobe Myers. I drew a blank. I'm sorry. So you slotting in really just to be more of a veteran presence, maybe, be the second or wide receiver. And when you say, man, I don't even want to do it in that limited capacity, I'll let you know you're done.
Yeah. Like I said,
Taka takes the first set, 7-6.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good rally.
There it is. All right, here we go. So really quickly, I love this story, Rob. You know, the Cowboys rebuffed Eagles offer for Parsons. Like, come on, man. And this is crazy, right? The fact that you know, he is actually from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right? I want to say, right? So Pennsylvania roots. He's from Pennsylvania. I'm gonna say that correctly. Went to Penn State, but he was like, you know, Parsons, like, yeah, I was a huge, you know, Cowboys fan. So that was, man, we knew this shit was not gonna happen, man. Come on, man. Eagles, man. I would have taken 10 first-round picks, man, if that was the case. But still, there's no way in Hades they were going to trade him to an in-division rival to see him lace up twice a year, man, and get all that.
Look, I'm surprised they even traded him to a team in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, but that was still, you know, but you know, at least with the Packers. But still, I'm like, man, Eagles got some balls. Eagles got some balls. They got some balls. They got some balls.
Yeah.
Balls, you know. Hey, man.
Jerry Jones is getting in his own way of the Cowboys having any chance of being successful. His ego is just too big. Dumb decision. I mean, you look at so far in this game, the Cowboys got absolutely no pass rush in this game. Zero, right? And I actually thought the Cowboys had a chance to be a playoff team this year. I don't anymore. And look, they're going to be in shootouts like this almost every week if they don't have any chance to win. But I actually thought they could have been a playoff team this year. But to me, they can't rush the passer. They're not going to be able to affect many games on the defensive side of the football. And, I mean, that was just a dumb move, in my opinion, by Jerry Jones. And his ego constantly – and I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I'm not hating on it. But here's the ego constantly to all of you Cowboys fans out there. Yep. Y'all owner constantly gets in the way of you all being successful.
Yeah, listen, yep. I told you that when they made a trade. They said they're going to be the NFC Bengals, just in a shootout every week for no reason at all because they can't get after the passer. And, I mean, I don't care who you got.
At least rush the passer.
I don't care who you got in the secondary. If you're asking them boys to cover 4, 5, 6 seconds, somebody's going to get free. Yeah. I don't care who you are. They're going to get free. So, yeah, man. And if you're the Eagles, I mean, yeah, you would have to so overpay.
10 first-round picks. That's crazy. I'm looking for a Herschel Walker deal.
But you know what's funny is that this is why the Eagles are them right now. They at least kick the tires.
Yeah.
And see what it would take. It didn't work. But
they got some balls to pick up the phone. Hey, Jerry, who is this? Jeffrey Lurie. What the fuck? Yeah. I'm just saying if you got, you know,
they
got Saquon, right? That's crazy. So
you gotta find out.
Maybe they thought they could catch Jerry Jones drinking or something.
Yeah, they tried.
That's what Cat said about Diddy. You gotta tell Diddy no. Jeffrey Lurie said, "You gotta tell me no." I'm gonna
make the call. He made the call. For sure. And that's crazy. So at least, you got make him tell you no, right? Hey, at least taking the phone. At least I made the call.
Yeah. The old saying is you have not because you ask not, right?
There it is. There it is.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
There it is. Do you want to talk about Myles Garrett? You put this for JQ, Rob?
Listen, man, he just harassing the shit out of me tonight with the topic.
No, man. I only put that for you because that's who the Bengals are playing this week.
Yeah, I think he got hurt. And they got him on
a hip injury.
Yeah. That dude is playing.
You know he's gonna play.
Yeah. And my thing is this. You're a sucker competitor if you're sitting at home hoping that other people's rusher. You know, I want to beat you with you got everything on your team so you can never have an excuse. So I'm hoping for him to be hurt. Plus, that dude is crazy. He's got the damn graveyard and all the quarterbacks he sacked in his house. He's playing. He does have.
You know the Bengals gonna go on the road and win that game. I did a prediction on that on my clip earlier this evening. And look, man, they're gonna go on the road and win that game. Joe Flacco is like 84 years old, man. Come on, Trey Hendrickson and the Browns have nothing on a perimeter that scares you, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a game the Bengals, in my opinion, can keep the Browns under 15, 14 points, and the Bengals can put up anywhere between 28 to 30 on the road, right? And so. It, to me, should be a convincing win for the Bengals on the road. I know it's a rivalry game, and you never know what shakes out with those kind of games, right? We know the dog pounds are going to be hyped week 1, right? But, I just think Joe Burrow right now is laser focused. Yeah. When you saw the way they ended the season last season, even a few preseason series he played, you can just tell he's locked in and laser focused, and which is a good sign for the Bengals going into the season.
I would have said that last year, starting off with the Patriots. We saw how that ended up. So until Zach Taylor proves it to me that he can win in September, I'm going to reserve judgment.
All right. So let's talk about some the NFL MVPs and as far as some Super Bowl predictions. And, again, we've got the same list of characters. Obviously, we got the Joe Burrows, Lamar Jacksons, and Josh Allen, even though, Josh Allen won it last year. So, again, these are right now as far as I don't know if anyone's going to I'm hoping that Lamar gets one. I'm hoping that Joe Burrow, too. I'm a fan of him as well, too, for you, Jake.
Say, man, get the hell out of here.
But, you kind of pissed me off for the Tech, but I'm going to let that slide, man. But it's all good.
But you obviously didn't let it slide.
I'll let it slide. I'm messing with you, JQ. But no, like I said, the usual, you're hoping that that Joe Burrow pulls it off. As far as Super Bowl predictions for Super Bowl 60, a lot of people are predicting that the Ravens are going to win that, and then followed by the Bills. But then on the NFC side, this is pretty interesting, right? You've got a lot of votes for the Packers, the Lions, the Eagles. I don't know how strong they are. We'll see how this plays out. And outside looking in for the Commanders, and then Vikings and 49ers. But again, that's kind of crazy talk, if you will, too. But I would love to see.
You forget that.
I know. That was I saw some picks and they're like 1 or 2 votes for them. I'm like, what? So, but Packers, Lions. I like Eagles are obviously strong. Eagles are the number one, and then I like the Commanders kind of outside for the NFC, but we'll see. We have no idea what's going to happen on that side.
I'm going with the Ravens and the Eagles. I'm going with the Birds in the Super Bowl, neighboring cities. I know a month or so ago I was on the Bills, but the more I look at it, I'm more on the Ravens. I think the Ravens and the Bills play against each other in the AFC Championship game. But I just think this Ravens team, John Harbaugh, one of the better coaches in the league. For the Ravens, the key for them is going to be to get home field advantage, right, in the playoffs. You don't want to go to Buffalo in January like they had to do this past year. Now they lost by 2 points in Buffalo, right? Yeah. But when you look at their roster with Derrick Henry, they got more weapons on the perimeter, physical and offensive, defensive line. They added Jair Alexander. Now, we got to see how well Jair Alexander is going to play. He's only played 7, 8 games each of the last 2 seasons. But when he plays, he's still playing at a pretty high level. So we have to see what that looks like for the Ravens. But I'm going with the Ravens, and I'm pretty. I know people are saying the Packers. I still want to see what that wide receiver room looks like for the Packers, right? I know a lot of people are high on Matthew Golden, but man, none of their receivers can catch a cold, man. I mean, it's just horrible, man. And then I want to see what the Packers' depth look like on that offensive line too. I know the Packers are going to be good on defense. I want to see what their wide receiver room and their offensive line looks like before I'm ready to. I think the Lions could still be a contender. I really do. I know they lost some coordinators. Yeah. I still say it's more about the Johnny and Joes than it is the X's and O's. And the Lions got the Johnny and Joes, man. They got a talented roster up and down that roster, right? Especially if they're healthy on defense. And the Commanders, they could be a sleeper. I think the Commanders improved on the offensive line. They got Josh Connerly in the draft. They're going to start him at right tackle, rookie from Oregon. They got Larry Tunsil. They're going to start him at left tackle. And they were doing pretty good. And their offensive line wasn't that great last year. So, the line's going to be better. I think their defense is going to be a little better as well. But all that being said, I'm going with the Ravens and Eagles. My prediction, Lamar Jackson MVP.
So you just talked about when I was taking the Lions. You got to remember, they was on a serious roll. Nobody can stand up with a 53-man roster to the injuries that the Lions incurred last year, especially going down the home stretch. So if the Lions stay healthy, they're a problem. I was going to go with the Lions as my pick. I don't want to go, the Eagles, I think, take a step back on defense this year. And you got Jalen Carter spitting on people, and I think he's going to get suspended.
He will.
That's embarrassing to do on banner night. Like they're gonna have a question.
Yeah, that was University of Georgia, Bill Romanowski like.
Yeah, that was bad.
So I'm gonna
go Lions, and then I know. I'm not gonna take the Bengals.
Who you gonna pick? Go ahead and say it.
I wasn't gonna pick Cincinnati because I don't think the defense is gonna be good enough to run the gauntlet. You got to think about the gauntlet you got to run. You got to face 2 of the 3 of Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo in the playoffs. If you're being honest with yourself, so if you're not taking one of those 3,
who's got the best defense out of that group?
listen, I think it's one thing nobody's talking about, and I've been talking about it for years. I said all they needed was a quarterback, and they finally got them one last year. It's the Broncos. Broncos have a really, really good defense. And you would put Evan Ingram in the middle of that field, and you got Cortland Sutton as well. I'm gonna go with the Broncos and the Lions.
Ooh. Man, we were talking the last couple of weeks about the teams with the 4 quarterbacks, and all of a sudden you pull out the Broncos?
The Broncos defense is legit.
Well, I give you that.
And they got your homeboy.
We've been talking about the 4 teams with the quarterbacks and the teams with the best chance. And now all of a sudden you pull out the Broncos.
I don't want to pick them other 3, and I can't pick the Bengals because that defense is too sorry. So I'm going with the Broncos.
Yes.
All right.
Broncos and Lions, that's what you said, JQ? All right. Good stuff.
Going off the beaten path.
That's good. No, I mean, yeah. Well, I don't want to see the Eagles again. Lord have mercy. Please no.
I just don't think that defense is stifling this year. And you're watching the Cowboys go up and down the field on them.
Well, again, Jalen Carter's out. Gordon Davis was still getting, manhandled.
But they've been able to run the ball. The whole game plan changed as soon as Jalen Carter went out of the game. Jalen Carter's unblockable, man. He really is. Yeah. And as soon as he went out of the game, I mean, the Cowboys' whole game plan had to change tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also got to think about, one, is he more susceptible to doing other dumb things, and how many games is he going to lose suspension because of that? It's going to be at least 1, and it might be 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
is for you, JQ. Apparently, the Cowboys and Bengals have been voted the most unstable franchises, and we probably know why, because the Jerry Jones likes to negotiate not with agents. He tries to negotiate with players, which is not a good situation, which is why you lost Michael Parsons doing some stupid shit. Obviously it's tough for the Bengals because, they've been called the mom and pop organization. They're challenging with Trey Hendrickson and, the contract stuff. So that's kind of the feedback that I'm hearing whenever it comes to those franchises.
Well, I could make it even more simple than that. But both the owners want to be the damn GM. Yeah. The other most well-run organizations have a clear line of delineation between owner, GM, coach, scouting department, all that. Those two, the owners want us to do it all. So, makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. Nothing for that, Rob? You got nothing, huh?
No, I'll leave that one for JQ. I think he's spot on with that one. Definitely spot on. It's interesting. We were talking about doing our show at 10:30. I was going to interfere with the game, but actually the time of our show worked out perfect, huh?
It did.
As soon as we started the show, they went on a lightning strike.
It did.
A lightning pause. That's funny.
The game's going to start literally at 11:30, so they're going to warm back up at 11:30. So
yeah,
they would have been happy. Hey, so we'll probably be ending around that time. Let's get to some of these predictions, if you will. I do want to talk about Ohio State and their defense against Texas because there's been a lot of chatter about that. And Arch Manning looking terrible, and they're like, well, Matt Patricia's defense was NFL defense, and we'll talk about this because Arch he missed some throws, man, and obviously
he did. But if you watch
by 11 throws,
but because he was confused and he had him seeing ghosts. Don't just take it off that. Some of that is him being young on the road, playing a really good team. But I watched some film breakdown of what Matt Patricia was doing with rolling coverages and dog zone blitzes and all that. He threw the kitchen sink.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, from my perspective, I think it's a combination of both. I think Matt Patricia and that Ohio State defense did a phenomenal job. I thought Caleb Downs was outstanding in that game.
100%. Yeah.
So, and some other players were outstanding. The linebacker, Styles from Ohio State, too. I thought he was really good, too. Mm-hmm. And, I had both of those guys, in the first round of the draft. But at the same time, I thought Manning, I've been having him number 1, based off of, everything else I'm hearing, everybody else having him number 1. But I kept saying I need to see more out of him. And I immediately removed him out of the first round.
Wow, Rob. Oh, my God. Out of the first round. Okay.
So, obviously, there's a lot of football left to be played. And but based on what I saw in that game, he does not look like number 1 pick in the draft at this stage. Maybe he gets better as the season goes along. Maybe his granddad, Archie's right, and he's come back for another year in college. I've immediately moved him completely out of the first round. I have Garrett Nussmeier number 1 right now overall in the draft. and obviously this is going to be fluid, so we'll see what it looks like week to week.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's a combination of both. Like I said, I would give Ohio State a ton of credit; they deserve that credit.
Yeah.
But also, I think Arch did not look good. Did not call out really good protections in the game. He just, and to JQ's point, he was just really confused for everything that Patricia and that defense was throwing at him. And he just doesn't look like the number one pick in the draft at this stage in his career.
I agree, and I don't really go with Ryan Clark all the time, his old still ass, but he's right.
He's LSU, baby, LSU.
Well, listen, whatever.
New Orleans too.
The thing about it too is that if he was that guy, what your parents wanted you to go and sit behind a quarterback,
he should have been Ewers out. He should have been Ewers out.
He sat behind you for 2 years, and Ewers was what, a 6th or 7th round pick. Like that dude kept you on the bench.
Yeah. That's what I heard too, man. I heard a lot about that as far as everyone's making fun of Shedeur, and Arch didn't play, and Shedeur actually played a lot better. So I'm not trying to talk ish, but it was like, man, they're like, oh, he's royalty, and you're like, what? I don't know, man. You couldn't beat out Quinn Ewers for 2 years, man, and then you get an opportunity, and like you said, he missed some wide open throws. Rob, I was watching that, and you know that you're seeing ghosts, and that's what happened a couple times, but you gotta like hit some throws, man, and that was bad. I'm sorry, that was bad.
And look, the kid's got a lot of football left in him, so I mean, that's 100%. Not the end of his story. We'll see, how he recovers from this, going forward. But no one could look at that game and say, man, that's the number one pick in the draft. No one could say that. I mean, I know it was 1 week, but the two quarterbacks I was impressed with the most was Nussmeier and Lenora Sellers. Those were the two I was the most impressed with of what I saw this past weekend.
Can we talk about Castellanos and Florida State? He was talking all kinds of shit to Alabama. He backed it up. He backed it up. You're like, what? And he was like, y'all, Alabama got their ass kicked, man.
None of us on this show saw that. I think we all picked Alabama route last week.
He was like, y'all can't fight, man. I was like, oh.
He told them boys, Nick Saban ain't here to save you.
Man.
He sounded like Rick Pitino. Nick Saban ain't walking through that door.
He was taking shots. He backed it up. I'm like, you go, my guy. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. So I was like, oh shit, okay.
Man, Florida State fans are acting brand new too.
Listen, shit coming out the work. I got a couple of them.
Man, they were hiding. JQ, like, hey, we're here. JQ, they were hiding out. They're like, we're back.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's a wake up call. Obviously, just because you have Alabama on your uniform don't mean that you gotta produce, man. So that was just I'm not gonna say shocking, but I was like, okay, they were ready. They were ready for Alabama. So that was just another one. Anyway, I apologize. Let's get to these predictions here. Right out the gate, we got the Chiefs at the Chargers. Obviously, first game out the gate, they are going. It's at the Chargers, right? If I'm not mistaken.
They're in Brazil. They're playing Sao Paulo.
They're in Brazil. Okay. I had to check that. Okay, man. Okay, so what happened to this one, Rob?
I'm going with the Chiefs, man. Rashawn Slater, the starting left tackle for the Chargers, is out for the season, and it takes a few games before you recover from a big injury like that on your offensive line before you shake some things out. But if you're the Chargers, man, you got to be upset. How do you take a home game away from you for a divisional game?
Right.
That's a big blow. Actually, I think if this game was in LA, I think the Chargers might pull off the upset.
That's why I thought.
On a neutral site, there's going to be more Chiefs fans than Chargers fans there. So it's going to be a home game for the Chiefs practically, right? Because the Chargers may only have about 4 or 5 fans. So, I mean, we know it's going to be the Chiefs Kingdom is going to be in the building. They're going to be doing a tomahawk chop in that place in Sao Paulo, and the Chiefs win that game, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I also, it's hard for me, I don't like Jim Harbaugh's ass, but he wants to just run the ball. He wants to play Big Ten football in the NFL. And there's some weeks you can get away with that. You want to be able to do that and run the ball in the playoffs when it's cold. But against the Chiefs, where you have to go take that crown. If I'm Spagnuolo, I'm going to put 8 in the box. I feel like, my corners are good enough to match up with their wide receivers, And everybody wants to love on Justin Herbert, but I would make Justin Herbert beat me because I know that Jim Harbaugh just wants to run the ball and beat me that way, keep the offense on the side of on the sideline. So if I'm Kansas City, I'm playing man and I'm putting 8 in the box. You're not gonna run the ball on me like that. I'm saying, come on, supposedly top 10 quarterback Justin Herbert, you beat me, and I just don't think he does it.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I mean, you like Ladd McConkey. You like Ladd McConkey. You know, he's a rising, young player.
He's got McDuffie. I would just have McDuffie just follow him.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
McDuffie one of the top 2 or 3 corners in the league.
Yeah, you like McConkey, but I'm just saying that's going to be a tough matchup. And then, like you said, I mean, Justin, you got to prove it, man. I still think that Harbaugh is like a stubborn asshole, man. So he's going to try to run. I'm going to try to run this way, then run this way. You're going to get your ass kicked, man. Because that's what's going to happen.
I know. Jim Harbaugh stood up and told his fans our offensive tackle was a weapon. So you know what that means, right? He wants to be physical. He wants to run the football, to JQ's point. But I just don't think. Now, look, the Chiefs don't have Rashee Rice, and I think that's a big blow. They're going to need a healthy Rashee Rice at some point this season if they're going to make a run, in my opinion, because Travis Kelce is getting like 49 years old, and the only thing he's worried about is marrying Taylor Swift right now, right? So his career is on the downhill. Great career, give him credit. Great career, but it's on the downhill. We saw that last season. And, hey, they're struggling on the perimeter right now. Xavier Worthy's going to have to take a step up for them this season if they're going to have success. And Rashee Rice missed a good part of last season, and then he's been missing the first 6 games of this season. Are we going to see the Rashee Rice that we saw prior to the injury last season, right? So there's still some question marks for me on the perimeter. Now, look, I think the Chiefs' offensive line is going to be slightly better. They got Josh Simmons from Ohio State. And if it wasn't for his injury, he could have possibly been a top 10 pick, right? So I think that's a big addition for the Chiefs. And look, I still think the Chiefs win this game, but I have some question marks on them as far as being better than the Ravens or the Bills this year. Right? And according to JQ, they won't even be better than the Broncos.
So. I was going to say you better not go to the Broncos after that conversation.
So the next game has an interesting situation because obviously we know what's happening with the Lions and the Packers, the game I'm talking about. And, there's been some scuttlebutt about Micah Parsons. He has like an L4, L5 like joint sprain. Apparently he's going to have an epidural to play. They're talking about, he's a game time situation or they may play, but in certain passing situations. This is going to be interesting because I think the NFL moved the game to 425 to see great matchup right at the gate. So, but I mean, Rob, you talked about some questions with the Packers as far as, again, can the wide receivers catch a cold? What's happening with that? Jordan Love, and we talked about JQ. The Lions have a great roster. So this is, Aiden Hutchinson's coming back. This is going to be a good game out the gate, but, Micah Parsons is a big, piece, but I don't know how much of impact he's going to have, man. So it's at the Packers. It's at Lambeau. It's at the, so what do you think about this? I was going to say Lambeau Field, but what do you think about this particular matchup
here? Well, I know your homeboy Mike is going to be there. He's going up for the game. So he's going to be the whole fool, I know.
Michael Parsons going to play, too.
Listen, I just go back and forth with it because it's like you signed that dude to that big deal for 4 years. Like, do you throw him out there when he hasn't had any preseason, nothing, and he's got a lower back injury? You go out there, he get hurt, and you lose in the league. So, I don't know. I think I'm going. I
like the Lions because of that, but still, I just don't know, man. Because it's like
I'm going with the Lions because I don't think Micah could play, but for so many snaps, and when you see him out on the field, you know exactly what's coming. He ain't dropping back. He ain't trying to catch. He ain't trying to tackle nobody in space in terms of running the ball. He's coming out there to rush the passer, so you can use that sometimes to your advantage because they're not able to move him around like you could before. And again, I just think that Detroit team, when healthy, is that roster we talked about earlier is so ridiculous. Not that I think it's going to be any ass whooping by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think if Micah was playing, I would take the Packers. If Micah was at full strength and playing his regular allotted amount of snaps, I would take the Packers. But given that he's not, I'm going to go with the Lions.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. I still think the Lions are the better team overall. And I think they'll still win the division. But I think with the Packers being at home, I think this crowd is going to be lit in Green Bay. And the interesting thing about Micah Parsons, if he was still with Dallas, he would have to play tonight. He definitely would not have been ready to play tonight. I think there was few additional days gives them a little extra time to get him ready to play. And I think the Packers win this game. I think it's going to be a heck of a football game. I'm thinking 3 points, 27-24, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
So I think they pull it out. But I still like the Lions as being the better team in the division in the end.
I just that whole having to get an epidural and try to play in the same week, man.
He's got to get shots to play the whole game that we're talking about, man. So he's going to have to get shot up, man. So that's just tough, man. So man, but you gave him all that money. You don't want him to like be even worse down the road. So
right, yeah.
You got to be smart. I mean, look, if Michael Parsons doesn't play, then that changes the prediction. I go Lions all the way, but I think he plays. I think he has enough impact on the game to help them win.
Everyone wants to see him. That's your shiny new toy. We kind of talked about this. I know we've talked about Texans at Rams, and Rob, I know you picked the Rams in this particular instance. So
me too.
Yeah, okay, good stuff. Another great game out the gate. We've got the Ravens at the Bills. So AFC Championship here. Is this some get back for the Ravens? What do you think about this? In this instance here.
I like the Bills. They're at home, man. I'm gonna go to the home team in this one.
Bills Mafia, okay.
But, it goes back to one of these things, kind of like Ohio State and Oregon last year. I'm gonna go with the home team, but I think in the end, the Ravens are the better team this year. So I'm gonna pick the Bills. They don't lose, just like the Packers. They don't lose too often at home. I think the Bills Mafia get them over the hump. I can see a similar game to the playoffs, 2-3 points, and the Bills find a way to win. I'm interested to see. What kind of leap these receivers take for the Bills this year. Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakur, and those guys they have. I'm interested to see what kind of leap these guys take. They picked up Joshua from the Chargers as well. So I'm still interested to see what kind of progression that those guys make on the perimeter this year.
Listen, the reason why I'm taking the Ravens is that Ravens defense is good. And they got, took Malachi Starks in the draft. You compare him with Kyle Hamilton in that back end. Jair, I think Jair's about to match his. I think they might still get some games you feel like, hey, we should win this game with or without him. And they may just, try to manage him for the season. But I believe the Ravens built that secondary with the Bengals in mind, 100%. And I just don't think the Bills' wide receiver core challenges that. Is the reason why I take the Ravens. I think you can play a little bit more schemes back there, probably gamble more man-to-man. Here and there, spy Josh, blitzing, where I don't think the Bills have that same luxury to do to the Ravens, even though, I know the Ravens won't have Isaiah Likely. But Lamar's feet and Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers, I think, is enough to get it done. And, they got a bad taste in their mouth about last season. They're going to come in with really bad intentions in that game. I think it's going to be another good slobber knocker, 2-3 points. I agree, Rob, but I guess I'm with the road teams. I'm going to Ravens.
Yeah, road teams. I love it. Let's talk about the AP poll, guys. I know we'll cover about 10 more minutes, I would say here. What do you guys think about the polls? I'm sure JQ is happy about Ohio State being number one. There was a couple of interesting votes here. We know that they were going to knock, that Penn State wasn't going to do anything. LSU's number 3. This is the AP. Georgia number 4, Miami number 5, Oregon outside of number 6, and then Texas only falls to number 7. Same thing like Clemson, Notre Dame, South Carolina. My Florida State guy, I'm so sorry, Jeff. They're coming out the woodwork. He's like, we should be higher. I'm like, you guys weren't even ranked, man. So let's just pump the brakes here. I know it's Alabama, but pump the brakes a little bit too. So I thought that was interesting as well. But you think so? You think so? Higher than
it's a dart throw going into it. They did. Okay. They beat the number 8 team in the country, and they beat them soundly, right? So I get y'all want to penalize the Texans, right, and the Clemsons because they had a hard game out the gate, and it's tough to say, hey, but man, they beat the brakes off them boys. Like they had us. They had us on Monday morning watching shows talking about how soft Alabama looked, and that's not what we used to talk about at all. So I was like, I think to me, LSU should be number 2. And I know it doesn't matter because in this day and age where it's not only 4 spots, it's 12 of them. All you got to do is take care of your business. If they keep winning, no matter where they want to put them, LSU's going to be in. Same with Ohio State. So where you want to put them, it doesn't necessarily really matter going into it. Sometimes I don't want to be number 1 that early in the season, to be honest with you, because in college football, we've seen it. You go number 1 early out midway through the season and go on the road, and you become everybody's Super Bowl from here on out. because you come in with that number one next to your name. So it makes you want to pump your chest, but then you think about it like we've all seen our teams go on the road as number one and lay an egg, and the other team, you leave them in the game, and they get fired up, and that crowd get fired up, and you find yourself in a dogfight for no reason in the fourth quarter. And a lot of it's because you came in as the number one team in the country. So, I mean, makes you feel a little good, but at the same time, it has its drawbacks too. But I'm not gonna get too caught up in it right now. I mean, it's week one, man. You know, if you take care of your business, you'll be in the playoffs. But all the one teams we thought going into it still have a great shot at still making the playoffs. You know, at the end of the year.
I was curious to how far Texas, Clemson, and Notre Dame were going to fall after losing to ranked opponents. I don't necessarily have a problem with the way they've ranked it. I would have put Miami ahead of Georgia just because of the win that they had over a Notre Dame team.
Yep.
But like I said, I think, to JQ's point, it will all play out. It'll all play itself out. I was curious to see how far Texas, Clemson, and Notre Dame fell. I kind of feel like South Carolina should be the another team that probably should have been above Texas, Clemson, and Notre Dame. And so maybe Texas should have been 8, Clemson 9, Notre Dame 10, and maybe South Carolina moved up to number 7. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot. My only two things would have been maybe Miami over Georgia at 4, and maybe South Carolina over Texas, Clemson, and Notre Dame. But outside of that, I don't have a problem with the way the rest of the rankings shaped up.
Sometimes I just don't think they want South Carolina in
it. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Shane Beamer is a heck of a coach. He's got a heck of a quarterback. They got some talent on that roster. I tell you, team, I knew they were going to have a good offensive line this year, Utah. I mean, they got 2 tackles on that team that are going to be top 30 picks. So I knew they were going to have a good offensive line. But, man, they destroyed UCLA on the road. And I see they're number 25. If I had to make another point, maybe they should have probably been a little higher, too.
Well, listen, UCLA is off. Come on.
I was going to quote Deshaun Foster.
Germany. Listen, he know.
Hey, y'all, I joked on the show last week that Nico couldn't complete a 2-yard pass to a fat man. Did y'all see that screen pass he threw?
Listen, he's hot trash. It's Spencer Rattler. It's who he is.
Oh man, I don't think Rattler's that bad. He's worse.
All that damn hype and be complete ass.
That's funny. I'm just going to briefly do this really quickly because this may be get off my lawn. Bill Belichick kind of banned a lot of the Patriot scouts from practice. This is probably just the disdain for the Patriots organization. General manager Michael Lombardi, by the way, he's the Tar Heels general manager, which is crazy.
But if you saw that game, the Patriots probably like, we won't have nobody we want to see on your team anyway.
Right?
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But
that was
man,
so
I just thought that was just a quick little point to make, So yeah.
No, man,
all the memes and jokes, man.
I think it's dumb. I really do think it's dumb. I mean,
yeah.
Bill, you made a lot of money from the Patriots, and regardless of how y'all split, they talk about giving you a statue, and now you want to block the. But like I said, if I'm the Patriots, I ain't gonna sweat it. There's nobody on your team we want to see anyway.
Not a soul.
That's hilarious. We already know about the college football Michigan at Oklahoma. We know JQ's picking Oklahoma. We don't even want. Brent Venables. That's.
I'm picking Oklahoma too, man. John Mateer might have one of the strongest arms in this draft.
Great quarterback, very underrated
quarterback position.
Yeah,
and I think Oklahoma's a sleeper in the SEC too.
Yeah.
I mean, your defense, Venables has got an improved defense.
Yep.
And I think it's gonna be interesting to see, Bryce Underwood. I mean, he looks like he's got a potential to have a bright future. But he's a freshman going on the road in a hostile environment, right? And we could see a similar situation where Venables throw a lot of different looks at him and confuse him like Patricia did to Manning this past week, right? So that's what I think is kind of going to be. I think Oklahoma wins by at least 10 points, maybe even 13.
I just like saying Brent Venables. I just like saying the coach. I mean, that's
what's interesting. Sherrod Moore actually went to Oklahoma. I didn't know that until this past week.
Listen, he looked like an Oklahoma ass, but never mind.
Nice. let's wrap it up here. Maybe two things here. And Caitlin Clark is not returning. I just saw that popped away, by the way. So that's kind of unfortunate for the WNBA. She's going to be out for the season if I'm not looking at that because of a groin injury. So that's kind of sad for. We want her to
obviously. A lot longer than they thought.
Yeah,
that's wild. Like, damn, what the hell did she do? Tear it off the bottom?
That lasted a lot longer than what they thought it would. That injury.
Yeah.
And they're still in the 8th spot. You know, in the WNBA, the top 8 teams make the playoffs, and Indiana's number 8. But without Caitlin Clark, they're not going far. I mean, especially if they got to play the Minnesota Lynx in the first round. They'll be swept.
And they lost Cunningham and like 2 other guards to season-ending injuries. Like, they've been murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about really quick. I want to talk about the All-Star game. This gets a new format, and this is pretty interesting, right? So last year, you remember the format. You had, 3 teams were kind of drafted by Shaquille, Barkley, and Kenny Smith, and you have the Rising Star Challenge team. And so apparently that did not go over well from the fans. They were not a fan of that. So they decided to change the format again. This time it's 2 USA teams and 1 international team competing in the round-robin tournament here. So, what is it? 3 8-player teams will play 12-minute quarters. What do you think about this, guys? Is this going to be good, bad, indifferent, or throwing stuff against the wall and hoping things stick?
The only reason why it might be better, I think one of the things the fans have been asking for is an international team. So that's what I think the NBA is reaching, and I've said this on the show before. The NBA, I'm an NBA fan, I'm an NFL fan, right? But I think their All-Star games are trash.
Yeah.
Baseball has got the best All-Star game, and All-Star game JQ, I'm sure would tell you that too. Baseball is the best All-Star game. It's the Pro Bowl. They should just do away with it. It's trash, and the NBA is reaching with what they're doing with the All-Star game too. Complete reach. So I don't know what they need to do. Just keep the slam dunk in a 3-point contest and do away with 3 points. With the All-Star game, or I don't know. But it's trash. Those guys don't even want to play in it.
Listen, what they should do is tell them to man the hell up. Remember in Living Color, the 2 snaps in the circle, hated it. I hate it. If you don't play the damn East versus the West and say, hey, and then try it. The winner gets home field advantage like the MLB does. Gets, home court advantage. Something.
Yep.
But come on, man. Nobody's even when we grew up, they did a whole lot of showboating early in the game. But when it got to the 4th quarter, everybody buckled down. They played better defense, and they got after it. That's what I would tell them. Hey, if y'all want to mess around, get your rocks off and shoot 53s early and throw alley-oops to each other, sure. But in this 4th quarter, we're going to play for real basketball. Like, come on now. To me, you might get hurt more messing around than you would actually playing because your body's used to playing for real. You get to mess around doing stuff you don't normally do, and that's how you get hurt. So I'm not a fan of it. I want to go back to the East versus the West, and I want them just to man up and play basketball.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it should be. And it's you hate to say like entitled because it feels like the fans voted you in, and you get some, have a nice deep bench. East versus West. Just they need to stop playing games, put some incentive in there. I mean, I don't know if money. I don't think money is kind of the incentive anymore. But like whoever wins home court event, something like that has to be done, man. Because this is terrible, 100%. So
yes, it is.
And you feel like an old school, like it should be East versus West. Just keep it. Just go back to East versus West.
East versus West.
That's the simple way. You can see Jokic and you can see this. Giannis kind of compete. Just make it work, man. Damn it.
And have some pride. Them boys did not want they didn't want the other conference to win. Like the entire when the Bulls was running, the West was like, we come out here to show y'all the West still got it. We're gonna win, and vice versa. When the Lakers were dominant, the East wanted to show, hey man, it ain't just about showtime now in the West Coast. We got some dogs over here in the East. Have some pride.
Yeah, that's the best way. That's the best way. Let's wrap it up. So, are you talking about the controversy with the Clippers, Rob, with that kind of fake tree company, whatever? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
man.
$28 million no-show deal, right?
Unbelievable. Oh, my God.
That's a mob
I've
shit.
expected this to go along in the NFL and the NBA for a long time. I really have. That there's got to be some side deals with some side companies or some owners. They got side businesses or car dealerships or whatever they have. giving players to circumvent the salary cap. So I'm very curious to see what the NBA finds out in this investigation, right? Because this is something I suspected has been going on. Not so much in Major League Baseball because they don't really have a hard cap. But I have suspected this in the NFL and the NBA for quite some time. Especially when you see teams is always getting star players, you got to figure, okay, there's got to be some side deals. Now, look, I know they can go out and get sponsorships and things of that nature, but I think the owners help some of these players get some side deals to get them to come to their markets for sure. And we'll see what comes out of this investigation, but I don't think this is the only one like this happening.
Damn. Nothing's gonna come out of it because I was listening to it, I was thinking about it, and I was on Instagram, and Rachel Nichols was talking. I forget who she was talking to, but she was like, "But you also have to think it's discovery piece that comes out of this when they look into it. If you're the other owners, to your point, Rob, and you are thinking about doing this, or already done it, or in the process of doing it, and you watch somebody else come and discovering what they have to turn over, and somebody finds something out about you, then that microscope starts to point your way, and the other owners look around and say, shit. We know what we're doing and trying to do. I don't want that kind of smoke or judgment. So they might go to Adam Silver and be like, hey, bro, I'm going to need you to let them off with a light fine and a warning because I don't want you to come looking at my books to see what I'm doing over here because they just happen to get caught. And listen, Pablo Torres better be cool because somebody going to put a hit out on his ass. He did this with LA. He was the one that was trying to get all the records for Bill Belichick and old girl at North Carolina. So since he's not doing as much at ESPN, he's like trying to become this investigative sleuth against these sports teams. He better be careful. You mess with billionaires, bro. You better be careful. Come up missing.
Yeah, the NFL had this happened like with the Timberwolves with Joe Smith in like 1999 or something.
Yeah, right. I remember that.
And they got docked like 5 first-round picks, but only like $3.5 million. That wasn't enough, I think, but that was
in that day was.
Joe Smith did absolutely nothing for the Timberwolves. Well, you can make a case that Kawhi Leonard had
I'm saying, but 5
side deals.
Yeah, but I think it was the 5 first-round picks that kind of hurt, obviously.
Oh, yeah, kind of.
You can't recover from that. 5 first-round picks, man. That's your organization back.
Yeah.
Not 5 years. It probably sets you back 10 years.
That's true. Yeah. Damn.
Especially for a small market like Minnesota, because it's hard to get free agents there, so you have to build it through that draft. So the money you're not paying the draft picks, you got to find free agency, but nobody's really trying to go to Minnesota like that. So yeah, that destroyed the Timberwolves for a while. But I don't think they're going to do it, bro. I think the other owners will look like, hey man, we've been doing this for a second. What they're going to do is go see Bomber and say, be better with your bookkeeping. What are you doing? But but I don't think they want them to really go into that level of investigation because nobody else wants to. Say we talk about college, but for the NIL, you could probably go to any of our schools. And if they really wanted to dig deep into what they was doing and open the books up, they could find you with some wrong you were doing if they put that flashlight on you. Other NBA teams do not want that.
That's true.
They don't want it.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Hey, man, I think it's time. We've wrapped up. We had a lot of good topics. Unless you want to talk about the MLB, Rob, you can do that, and then we can wrap this up after that, my guy.
Oh, man. Hey, it's a lot of interesting pennant races going on in Major League Baseball. Man, what did my Yankees do tonight? We got a tough series against Toronto this weekend. We got to prove that we can beat some good teams here. If we beat the Astros tonight, we'll finally beat a good team 2 out of 3. But the Yankees bats have they did win tonight 8-4. So good. I know we had some runners on base in the 8th inning. I think it wasn't paying attention once we started the show. But yeah, so I got some good series. So you got the Yankees and the Blue Jays. When you look at that AL West, you got the Astros. The Mariners are kind of in the slump right now. But Texas Rangers getting hot again. I mean, they've won 7 out of their last 10 games as well. So got some interesting races going on. So we'll see what happens. Then the San Francisco Giants are hot all of a sudden.
Yep.
So we'll see what they if they can make a run. What about the Reds, JQ?
Shit, they done. 2 or 3. Struggle. They done. Blue Jays just put an ass up on us. So yeah. I'm done. We're gonna talk about it.
Yep. So you look at the National League. I mean, the Giants are still like 5 games back on the wild card, so it's gonna be tough for them. But
And of course, the game is back on, and the Eagles just did the push, man. So there you go, man. It's right back at it, man. They're still doing it, man.
Right back to it off.
Wrap this up, Rob.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to another show on tonight. We'll be back on next week, so stay tuned to our Talking Sports with the 12th Man page. We'll let you know what night we'll be on next week. So stay tuned. We want to hear from y'all. Philadelphia, Dallas, New Orleans, Portland, JQ's favorite city, Fresno. Want to hear from all of you guys. The Jackson, Mississippi of the West.
So stupid.
Much prayers out to Gary's mom. Happy birthday, Abe. Hope you had a great day. Gentlemen, It was always a pleasure. Keep those texts going throughout the week. It's going to be another interesting week. NFL kicks off, man. Excited to see what happens on Sunday, gentlemen. Have a great one, man.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Good night.
America. Peace.